for Rotherham United.
Wood's got round the back, and Richie Wood has done it again. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly.
Do me a favour, drop me off in Rotherham.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast. Thank you all for being with us as we look ahead to a South Yorkshire derby that we never win. But hopefully this weekend will change it all. Mick is back with us. How are you doing, Mick?
I'm all good, my friend. Thank you. How are you?
Very, very good. Weird it being a Wednesday. It's thrown my week off completely. But that's how sad we are. But there's good reasons. Steve's back with us. How are you doing, Steve?
Absolutely tremendous. You can't beat it, can you, on a Wednesday?
Exactly. That's the enthusiasm we need. And Lewis is back, mate. How are you doing, Lewis?
Yeah, good. Thank you for having me back on.
Good to have you with us, mate. We've got loads of people with us. Terry Fenby is with us. Sarah Ogden says, hi, everybody. Good evening. It's not looking good because she's going. Paul Rhodes says, hopefully the squad is feeling better for Barnsley on Saturday. Andrew Barlow, Chris Taylor, Cheryl Stone, Phil, Steve, Mark Gamble, all with us so far, as is one Rags to Riches from Barossa Valley, hoping for a great result on Saturday. Yeah, so let's just take this off while we're here. We are doing this a day early because tomorrow we have an interview lined up with the captain. Joe Raffett is going to come and talk to me, Mick, Tom and Danny, I think. And we're going to try that should be out Friday. It's not before the game on Saturday. It's a bit pointless, isn't it? We've been a preview of the Barnsley game. So that'll be out Friday at some point. But if you're looking for something on a Thursday, we're going to put the scouting report out. So if you still need your Thursday evening New York talk fix, there is still something out there. And there is still time to get your questions in for Joe Rafferty as well. At this point, the best thing is to email us, rufcpod@gmail.com. We've got a load of questions in so far, but if you haven't done so yet, let us know. What are you going to ask him, Mick?
I don't know.
Cool.
No idea. I haven't.
Good bit of prep work's done. It's in the bag. The prep as well.
And today's today, isn't it? And I ain't got through today yet. So
You've got no to do, have you? You're retired.
What can I say?
I've been busy today. I've been out coffeeing. I've been picking grandkids up. I've had a busy day.
Good
Don't
lad.
mock me.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, we're all just jealous. Harry says, is there a ban on previous manager talk? That will be very limited because I don't think it's fair on Rafferty to talk too much about last season. There will be a little bit, but I don't think it's too fair, to be honest with you. So we'll talk about that next time. Lewis, it's been a little while since we had you on, and since you've been on, things have turned around pretty nicely, to be honest with you. Three wins in a row, 4 unbeaten. What's been your take on this kind of mini turnaround that we're having?
I just think a few injuries coming back and things like that. They seem to, since that Oldham game after the first half. I couldn't watch the game, unfortunately, but I've heard the second half, and like Hampshire said about the second half being much improved, and it seems they've took a lot of confidence from that second half, from coming back from 2 goals down. When for the majority of the season it's been the other way around, where we've been like, you look at Wimbledon or I can't think of other game. They're another away game. Mansfield, yeah, where we're winning and then end up losing. So for it to be the other way around and turn it around, and it seems we've put a bit of momentum, a bit of a run together. Like with a few players coming back from injury as well. You've had like Nombe, obviously plays a massive part, and you can imagine he probably plays a massive part for confidence at dressing room as well. And obviously he gets the fans' confidence up, and yeah, I think it's like a number of things like that, and hopefully it can continue into Saturday.
Absolutely, and I think the characters now really shown to be there, Steve. I think you're putting at Joe Powell at left wing back and Sean McWilliams having to go at right wing back. I just feel like earlier in the season it would have maybe hit us a bit harder, but because over the last 3 or 4 games they built up this little bit of character, it just didn't impact the team at all. Williams wasn't brilliant, but it didn't impact his kind of positive energy on the game, and Joe Powell did all right as well. This character seems to have built up where these mini bits of adversity at the minute don't seem to be hurting us too much like they were in those previous games.
Yeah, it's confidence. I think, there's a little bit of confidence seep back, and it's amazing what happens when you win a couple of games. I mean, I can't remember the last time we won 2 straight games. It was right at the beginning of Amshore's, when Amshore took over, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But for these players, a lot of them have been injured on and off, and we've lost. We've lost our big player, Mr. Sam. When these guys start coming back, and really he's going to have a difference and make a difference in the changing room as well, because he's a bit of a character, I gather. It was crucial. That Oldham game was crucial, because at half time I was losing my temper. But he made 2 subs, really put the experienced guys on, and we just didn't give Oldham a chance afterwards. So, and I think that was a stepping stone. We'd already had the Bradford game, hadn't we, beforehand, which we weren't bad in. We won last minute. The way we won at Northampton, I think, was brilliant, because it gave a connection between the fans and and the players on that particular day. And looking at their faces after the game, when they were in front of the fans, was I said it, I think, on the podcast that weekend, was brilliant to see. And it carried on Saturday. It wasn't a great game Saturday, but, we won a game that last year or even earlier this season we would have lost. So,
yeah, absolutely. Killer James was asking we're doing it daily, so don't have the team news, which is not ideal. But the talk was last weekend that it's very likely James and probably Lenny should be available. As long as they've come through this week, okay, you would expect to have at least 4 or 5 more players to pick. We'll come on to it, but bear in mind the ill players as well. We should have some options. Tom Swift says that was 2 very poor sides in this place Saturday. We were lucky to win. I think we only had 2 shots on target, like watching paint dry, Mick. And I'm not saying it was a good game, but at the same time, Leyton Orient are a good team. They've shown last season they're a good team. They've shown in spells this year that they're a good team. And when we played Northampton, I remember everybody on social media and on I can't say, Northampton are rubbish. Well, they're not, are they? These are decent teams. These are teams that are both. If we were in Leyton Orient's position of 13th on Saturday, we'd have all been very, very happy. Same with Northampton. Are we just kind of looking because we've won? No, they must be rubbish because we've won. I feel like it's taking the shine off us a little bit. I'm not saying we're spectacular, but we deserve some credit for these 2 wins. Quite a lot, I think.
There's 2 bits to what Tom said there. If he's talking about first half, 100%, absolutely 100% agree. It was awful. And I don't know whether it were 2 poor teams or 2 teams cancelling each other out. Either way, it was a very, very poor half of football on Saturday. I don't agree with him on the second half performance. I think we were far more effective in the second half. We were far more dangerous. We created a number of chances, albeit there may have only been a couple on target. That's something to work on, obviously. But I thought we were far more effective in the second half. I don't think they were poor. I think they were ineffective, there's a difference. I don't particularly think Northampton were poor, but again, they were very ineffective. And I think that's what we get from a lot of teams in this division. The quality is not great, but I wouldn't say it's, well, I suppose it's a results business, isn't it, ultimately? And, if you're not getting the results, you're crap, ultimately. But we are improving. We are improving significantly over as each game goes on now. But the key to this is exactly what Steve said there. It's about the confidence. The confidence is growing. We know that they're a talented bunch. There are some very, very talented players in this team. However, they've not shown it so far to any degree or for any period of time other than like a 45-minute spell, as on Saturday. But they are improving, and it's about confidence in it. So, yeah, there are some poor teams. Yeah, there's been some really poor games, but there is an improvement for me, and I've said it before and been criticised for it before. There's an improvement game on game, and we just got to keep it going, haven't we? That's the key. And what we don't need is a confidence knock on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll come on to history maybe later on because it smells the history. Steve said, I'm expecting Norwich to be quick and dangerous going forward, and they did nothing. Probably praise Rafferty and Jules in particular, gave them nothing. James Bean's with us from this evening off from the Thurkoff Goons, and he pees with us as well. Terry says, does it matter how many chances you have as long as once you get them, you put them away? And that was the story of the start of the season, really. I mean, particularly the Barnsley game, Lewis, in the League Cup, where we hammered them, really. For 45 minutes, we could have been 3 or 4-0 up. And there's a couple of other games, examples, maybe Port Vale first game of the season, a couple of those where we had quite a lot of chances. We just weren't taking them. We just weren't efficient in that area. Whereas now it's flipped. If you're going to pick one or the two, you pick the efficient one where you score your 2 chances, 1 chance. And that's the route to aim down, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I think it probably comes down to a lot of personnel as well. You think we hadn't had Nombe since them first 2 games. You look out in that first game of the season, he scored 2. They're never the most glamorous goals, but he's someone in the box to score him at the end of the day. You think we've not really had Sharif for a long period. He's been in and out with injuries and illness and stuff. Atete, same. Coyote, the same. The only real ever-present striker has been Jordan Ugle, and sometimes he hasn't really had much to feed off, has he really? I think should we get? And I know you're going to speak about the team later on, but I'd like to see Ugle and Nombe up there together, and hopefully, I mean, Martha's chipped in attack-wise. A goal against Barnsley, like you said, in that game, and he's looked dangerous going forward. I just think we need someone now. Nombe's back. Hopefully, there'll be a bit more clinical edge, and we might see a few more goals. Hopefully,
yeah, a bit more support there is what we've needed, and I think we have shown that as well. And he says, surely we're all proud to punch with the facts shown Saturday. I think absolutely we are. Rob Dixon says, personally disagree with Mick. The performances are no better. The results are, which is the most important part, which is more important than how we play, which is true. Go on, Mick.
No, the results are important, of course they are. That's what it's all about, isn't it? But in order to get those results, you've got to perform better than we have been doing. And perform better than we did in first half on Saturday, performed it better than we did in the first half against Oldham and other games this season, performed better than we did after the penalty at Northampton. So the performances for me, and it's all about opinions, isn't it? You know, performances are better in patches. I'm not saying overall, but in patches they are. And we've got to get rid of the in patches bit, and then the results will continue. They will continue to come.
I think the pressing has improved over the last 3 or 4 games. I mean, Leighton Orient scored 4 the week before, but we didn't give them a chance up in the first half. First half wasn't good at all, but it was 2 teams, I agree with you, that cancelled each other out on the press because they were pressing us, we were pressing them, and the ball was going nowhere, like a kids' football match. And I think against Northampton as well in the second half, the reason why they didn't even get anywhere near Dawson generally was because we were nicking all the second balls, which is down to our press and the effort and energy in midfield, which early on in the season wasn't quite right, and people were going through us a little bit too easy. So we've got to try and do this again on Saturday, I think. You know, it's the way forward. And it's where do you start when we've been so bad for so long? I'll take energy and a press that will give us the ball, and maybe, you know, we might get 1 or 2 chances, and we are quite deadly in front of goal nowadays. We score really nice goals rather than in-off backsides. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to come on top. This last point. He says opponents are no better than we had at some games under Evans. It's the same as last year. 2 points. We need to stop doing that. We need to stop comparing to Evans. It's bad. But if we are going to compare, how much smaller is the budget this year compared to what it was last year? These are, on paper, worse players. So you should be expecting worse performances. And I think it's arguably...
Well, they're younger players, aren't they?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
So
that's
maybe not as bad, but they're younger players. Hence, there's not as much experience. And experience didn't do as much good last season, did it? Really?
No, absolutely not.
I would argue that the worst performances this season are probably on a par with the best performances that we had under Evans.
But let's stop comparing. Yeah, you
Stick
did.
That one in there.
You did.
No response.
He's just going to leave it there. Leave it dangle. A few players that were worth mentioning, Steve. We didn't really get a chance to mention Hugo on the instant reaction, which we were on Saturday, but I think Jordan Hugo deserves a lot of credit because of everything that kind of went on. But not only, even if that was a fully fit Jordan Hugo, that was a much better Jordan Hugo than we've seen for a lot of this season, to be honest with you. And a good Jordan Hugo means that we are going to play well. If Jordan Hugo plays well, I'm almost certain we play well. He can be really effective.
Absolutely. And, you know, there were a couple of times on Saturday where he actually kept the ball and laid it off. And, you know, at that point you think, yeah, I know why he was a really good player that fetched whatever it was, 10 million, I can't remember. So 10 years ago, whatever it was. I mean, I don't know whether it was somebody on here actually said that they'd seen him in the car park afterwards. And he'd been throwing up all night. And he threw up in the morning. And then he played because he wanted to play because he knew his team needed him. And for me, that just deserves a bit of a medal sticking on his chest, frankly. And he lasted 80 minutes or so, 85 minutes. And he played well. So I can't criticise the guy Saturday. And as a lot of people on here have said, he's been available a lot more than a lot of our players have. He's always available for us. He might not be very good sometimes, but he's always available. So credit due.
Yeah, I agree. He's becoming a youthful player, which he hasn't always been. So I understand, but he certainly is. You know, before in the past, when you see subs come up and Hugo comes, I'm not. If Hugo doesn't start on Saturday and comes on hour, I'd be quite happy with that because of how effective he's been recently. Mark Gill says, agree with Mick. You turned the line on your new season resolution there. Not mentioning previous time.
Yeah. Might be stepping over that line, but that won't be the first time, would it?
Yeah. So back to you, Lewis. Sam Numby obviously came back. He's coming back. He obviously played half an hour or so against Northampton, 45 minutes on Saturday. It's a good and a bad thing because he's effective, he's brilliant, and he's as good as we kind of remember him to be. But the worry for me is if he does get injured again, which can happen with hamstrings particularly, nobody else does what Sam Numby does. We're not a one-man team, but it feels like we're almost relying so much on Numby at the minute. It's a worry a massive worry if he got injured again.
Yeah, just like you said there, you don't want it to be a one-man team, but as soon as he comes on, there just feels like a different change to everything, to the players, to the atmosphere. Like even the simple stuff like if like a ball coming knocked into channels and he'll run and he'll hold it up. I think I remember late on, and he just wins a throw in and just things like that, just to like either just change the game or slow it down or just things like that. He's quite a crucial player. I think obviously there were questions when we first signed him and stuff, but he's really like just earned all the fans like respect and he's like how much we've missed him and stuff. But it's whether or not you feel almost he's got to start on Saturday, like with no Atete, whether Sheriff might be back, like Hugo as we mentioned. But I think he has to start. But it's how long you give him really. Do you try and push him to 70? So he's got half an hour 45. Do you try and get 70 out of him? It all depends on game as well. You can never like, you know what I mean. So he has got a bit of I'm sure he's got a bit of a bit of thinking to do with what he does with him. And it's also like you don't want to rush him back. You don't want any injuries because if he were to get to because initially they said it'd be towards the end of October, nearly November. I remember reading that were only a few weeks ago as well. It was towards the end of October. Sorry. So whether he's been brought back already, we know a few. Perhaps Sheriff and Atete were maybe brought back early from reading through what they said before. So hopefully there's nothing still lingering where hopefully we don't push him too much and we can't really afford to lose him for another long spell, really, can we?
No, absolutely not. I completely agree. Turf MC lists the whole team and the terraces. We had this conversation literally a week ago, didn't we? You know, how fit is Sam Numby? Would you start Sam Numby? Would you leave him so he finishes the game because you want your best players on at the end of the game? He's played half an hour, played 45 minutes. The next step is an hour plus. But then that means you can't finish with if that's the case, which Sam Nombe's talked about this being a gradual process. He's talked about getting it right and making sure he doesn't push himself too much. Kind of suggests that you're not going to be able to finish the game with Sam Nombe if he starts, but then that's a problem because, like I said, about finishing with your strongest players, it's a real headache for Matt. It's quite a good one because you've got Sam Nombe to pick from, but it's still quite an issue for Hampshire to work around.
Is that me?
Yeah, mate.
Oh, sorry. What question?
Yeah,
it is. It is. It is a difficult one because it's made more difficult by the lack of any support we've got or any depth we've got up there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is, quite frankly. I think he will start on Saturday, and maybe he'll do a full 90. Who knows? But I think it'll be him and Hugo that start. And hopefully, we've got Sharif back on the bench who can then come and take his place, or we revert back to one up front. We'll have to see how it pans out. But I think he needs to start. I definitely think he needs to start because of the impact that he has and being away from home as well. You know, we need that ball to stick up front, and if we've got him and Hugo traditional is not the right word, but whatever, I can't. He's not been that great at holding the ball up. You know, the ball goes to him, it sticks, and then he just keeps holding it and never. That's recently he's not been doing that. He's been holding it up and laying it off and doing a really good job in that role. So if we can have him and Nombe for 60, 70 minutes doing that, being away from home, it's going to help us maintain possession of the ball for a little bit longer than we have been doing. So he's an important part in it to the way that we're playing. Whether he can do 90, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. They know better than us, don't they? And the club have they've been very very careful at easing him back in. 20 minutes, then 45 minutes. Is it 60 minutes next? And full game, we'll have to wait and see. But depends what the medical team say ultimately and what the player says. So let's see.
Yeah. It is worth pointing out there's a bit of a gap in league games after this game. We've also got Man City in the Virtue Trophy Tuesday, and then I think it's the FA Cup. I think the Saturday after. So then becomes the next league game. I think Burton. So there is a gap where maybe you could push him a little bit because you've then got an opportunity to rest him for a little bit after that if needs be, Steve. But I suppose if you make mention about lack of depth, but if you're starting two, let's say it starts Nombe and Hugo, Sheriff's a great sub to bring on. Or say you start Hugo and Sheriff, Nombe is a great sub to bring on. Or say you start, whichever one you don't start with, for the last 20 minutes, half an hour, whoever you bring on, they've already shown that they can be really effective. So for the first time, literally the first time this season, assuming none of us got injured this week, we've got some really good options to probably being off the bench in the last 20 minutes of the game from a striking point of view.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing about it is, if he plays one up front, I think there's only really Hugo is the option for up front to start. Because Sharif showed the other night, I can't remember who it was against, he's young, he's not great up on his own up front, frankly, at the moment. And he's been injured again. So I think you're right. I mean, whoever he starts with, if he plays two up front and he's got Hugo and Sharif, yeah, he can bring Nombe on. And if it's Hugo and Nombe, they can bring Sharif on. The constant is, again, Hugo, which is kind of weird given how it was, 6 months ago when I would have let him go personally. But he's proven himself very valuable to the squad. And it does show the paucity of options we've got up front, really, that we're having to choose between the three guys. I mean, it's a real shame that Atete has got himself really badly injured and is going to be missing for 3 months because he would have been very, very useful in the next few weeks as an option that would have given him 4 to pick from. But Nombe is one of them. I think Lewis mentioned that little run he had, and I'm sat there thinking, "Oh, don't ping." Yeah, because even when you get somebody back after that, it was like when Humphreys came back, and you think, "Oh God, don't ping." It's 3 months,
Yeah.
So fingers crossed that they look after him. They have been looking after him, and then it works out, and that he has a good, clear run to the end of the season, because he's going to be crucial.
Yeah, it's absolutely. It's interesting you mentioned him, but when Humphries came back, he never moved the same, really, did he?
No, he didn't. No.
Whereas Nombe at the minute, early days, but he's that movement is still exactly the same. Touch wood.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Jim Wilkinson adds that McLaughlin scored last night. His first goal for Eastleigh on his loan spell. So hopefully he gets a few more and gets going on that loan. Harry says, I assume Nombe can play 6 minutes now based on he's played 30-45, but I still don't think it's worth starting him. I think he makes a huge impact for us off the bench. And Andy P says we should absolutely start Nombe. As long as they're a good side, but beatable, we need to take our early chances and not let them get away from us. Yeah, it's kind of put out for Barnsley tomorrow, but I think they're 5 games without a win, something like that. They were unbeaten in the first 9 and haven't won the next 5 or 6 however games is. So they're not really in a good place at the minute, Barnsley. But again, we'll come on to history in a moment. The midfield then, Lewis, is then another question. I mean, it depends on how many strikers you're playing with, but the best setup we've had so far was against Bradford when Benson and Martha were kind of 2 10s behind Sheriff or Hugo when they came in the second half. That was really, really good. But Benson was really poor against Northampton, against Leyton Orient. Sorry, it was kind of non-existent. Where would you go in terms of that midfield? Add the other 2 in there as well if you want to pick it. But those 2 to start with.
Yeah, well, I agree with you with Bradford, with Martha and Benson. I think there's 2 10s in behind the striker. I think they look really good, like some of the link-up play and stuff. You think for both goals, the first one especially, I think both of them were involved for Denzel Halls. And then the second one were more Martha, with his dribbling. But I think both of them in behind, not like almost free rolls, but they're a bit more creative. They can drift out wide. They can play more centrally. Benson, I know he wasn't as good on Saturday, but you can tell how good of a technical player he is, and he seems to read the game really well. He seems to know exactly what he needs to do. I listened to his interview last week and how much he just wants to play, and the fact we've been able to get him on the pitch for the past few games. I mean, you see his quality with the free kick, obviously, like his technical quality. So him and Martha, if you can get him, ideally you'd want. For me personally, I think they look really good as 2 10s. And then you've got quite a conundrum with the other midfield places, especially when you look where 2 of them having to move out to wing back last week. You've got you think who's going to come in. You'd argue Powell and McWilliams are usual starters in the middle. So who you pick between Spence, because Spence won like the sponsors man at match on Saturday as well. He were quality. Dangor has gone through a little bit of a patch again where he's not impressing as much as he was before, but you've always got that quality. I can see Steve playing a face.
Oh, so that's a Steve, Lewis.
That's my son you're talking about.
But yeah, he's definitely got an headache in that midfield. Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But I'd start Benson and Martha. If they're both fit, I'd start Benson and Martha, whether you're playing 2 up top or 1. The question then becomes, Jordan Dom says, has Spence earned himself a start after a good display on Saturday, Mick? I think he has, but as Lewis has mentioned, this is now a problem. Because Dangor starts. For me, it's as simple as that. But Joe Powell has improved over the last 2 or 3 weeks. There has been a marked improvement from Joe Powell. And I think at the same time, I think McWilliams has dropped off. So for me, it's Powell or Spence. And how can you drop Spence after Saturday? He was brilliant. But then I'm glad I'm not making this decision because it's such a tough call unless you put Powell back out left wing back.
Exactly.
Okay.
The last 2 games that you said he's improved over the last 2 games. Yeah, out on that wide left. Defensively, there's an issue there. We don't know what his capabilities are defensively, but out wide seems to me to be his best position. He's played better in the last 2 games out wide. He's been more effective than he has been in central midfield. He tends to get lost in there. Whereas once we get the ball out wide, he's very, very effective. So for me, Reece James has to win his place back because I don't know, Joe Powell put him there, and let's worry about his defensive duties if he fails to perform them. But yeah, get him out there and have Spence in that midfield. McWilliams drops to the bench, and Denzel Hall comes and takes his place. Happy days, job done. 2-0 victory incoming for the Millers.
Okay.
Seems straightforward to me.
Okay.
Let's get it done. Get it over and done with, and we can all have a pint.
Strangely enough, I entirely agree with me on this one. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you should fiddle too much with the team that finished on Saturday. As we say, we still don't know what he's going to do up front, but in terms of, I'd leave Powell where he is because I think he's done really well the last 2 or 3 games. And as long as Denzel stopped chucking up, we'll put him back in at right.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Joe Powell signed last year and he compared him to Ben Pringle and then spent the entire season playing him as a central midfielder. I wonder if his best position is kind of what Steve Evans said. His best position is maybe as a left-hand-sided player, Steve, because it gives him extra freedom out wide. Wingers love freedom. They love it. Joe Powell can take a man. He's not quick, but he can put a cross in. He does tick a lot of those boxes from the attacking side of things for that left wing-back role. And the last 2.5 game and a half, I've shown that it can be effective against average teams, and Barnsley at the minute are an average team. Yeah,
I mean, they score goals from inside their own half now, apparently. So we've just got to be very careful of that bit. But in terms of Joe Powell, yeah, I would agree because he just looks more solid. He doesn't look as not fragile, susceptible to getting run past at left wing back. Yeah, and Pringle had a wand of a left foot, as they used to say, and he has still got a really, really nice left foot on him, Powell. So, yeah, I mean, as I just said, I'd just not tinker too much with it. He's got a couple of decisions to make, but I'd definitely still play Spence. Why change it? McWilliams on the bench, Denzel back in, and then he's got a decision to make up front. Martha is just fantastic when he gets going. For a guy that hadn't slept through 43 time zones on Friday, he did extraordinarily well on Monday. So, yeah, let's give we need to give Barnsley something to worry about, like we did in the first half of that cup game. But we need to do it for 90 minutes.
Yeah,
it's so long since we beat them at Oakwell. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Yeah, I'll give you some information a bit. James back in, Kayla Wilson says. Andy Peace says the same thing. James straight in. Powell is no wing back, which is interesting. All about opinions, isn't
absolutely.
It? Yeah.
It's not a clear cut decision, is it?
No.
I mean, my thought is that just leave it as it is from Saturday and put James on the bench. But you could easily put him back in. I wouldn't have a problem with that either. So,
yeah. I agree. The other question becomes, I think Mick mentioned Denzel Hall, Lewis. Denzel Hall fit. Denzel Hall comes in. I think it's probably been our best player this season. The other question then becomes Lenny, because those back three on Saturday, they probably each individually had one of their best games of the season. Zach Jules and Baptiste certainly had their 2 best games, and Rafi was fantastic as well. How tempted would you be to chuck Lenny in there, who has been good, but obviously dropped the biggest mistake of the season against Bradford? But it feels ages ago. That was his last game.
Yeah.
Again, it's a tough decision to make, but a good decision he's got to make.
Yeah, I think one thing I'm sure has kept mentioning is because obviously Agbear went away with Scotland and didn't play, and then he's come back, didn't play on Saturday. He's mentioned wanting to get a game into him to get that Bradford game out of his system, really. So whether that plays into his thinking, whether by that he means from the start or as a sub, I could see it probably means it more from the start. But like you said, who does he replace based on Saturday? I know, like you say, probably Zach Jules' best performance at season. He started off a bit slow, I'd say, to season, but then he seems to have got back in. I think there are a few games where he wasn't even a starter, but he's got himself back in. Baptiste, whether it's through injury, like to Tom Holmes, you'd have thought he'd have been the starting centre half, but Baptiste come in, played regularly since he's been here, and apart from the Bradford game, has looked quite good and solid. And Rafferty again, similarly so. He had a few games out at squad. People questioning why Amshaw's captain's on bench and things like that. And then I think I definitely prefer Rafferty on the right of the back three compared to any wing back role or anything like that. So he just adds that experience next to, whether it is like Lenny and Baptiste, he has that experience next to him. So again, similar to up front and midfield, he has got another selection idea really, because he does always seem to like to bring Lenny back in as soon as he's available.
Didn't Lenny come back with a bit of a pulp?
Yeah. He might not be fit, but I think the word last week was that he probably would be available this week, probably.
So you can possibly leave him to the Virtue Cup, couldn't you?
Yeah, that's certainly an option. You should also have Raggett's available as well. I would use him as we used him last week, later on. But in terms of these changes, Mick, Andy P says Lenny has to be on the bench at the start of the back three. Steve says tough to drop any of the back three after the last game. I think, if somebody correct me, I think it's 2.5 games that those three have played together fully. So last week, the Northampton game and the Oldham game, they've conceded 1 goal in that time, and that was a penalty, which wasn't even a penalty. So when you start looking at that like that, you'd be a bit daft for me to change that back three. You've got almost 2.5 games worth of clean sheets in there. Not in real terms, but in theory, it should be 2.5 games worth of clean sheets. Why on earth would you even think about changing that?
I mean, it's a fair point, isn't it? I can't really argue with it. You want to get Lenny back in if you can as soon as possible to get that monkey off his back, but he's got to win his place back. He's been away on international duty, and unfortunately, he's lost his shirt. And until there's a reason for him not to, for somebody else to be dropped, they were outstanding the back three on Saturday. They were very, very good, and played no small part in that clean sheet. So it's very difficult, and I would argue he'll probably leave it as is for the time being, and maybe obviously look to rest a few for the Virtue Trophy. But I can't see him changing that back three, quite frankly. I just can't at the moment. There's pace, there's aggression with Jules, assuming that he's going to maintain the form that he had on Saturday. There's experience with Rafferty and Jules. I can't see him changing it, quite frankly. I would love to see Lenny back. I really would, but
yeah, maybe not the right time. Jamie looks asked about Coletta, when Coletta's due back. Don't know. Hopefully we'll find out tomorrow. Hopefully we get somebody ask the question. If any journalists are watching this, please ask about Coletta tomorrow, because we're all desperate for Coletta. Imagine having Coletta to bring off bench for 20 minutes, half an hour. He'll just cause havoc anyway, like he did against Donny. So hopefully Coletta's back.
He did against Barnsley last time as well. He was a right thorn in their side against Barnsley last time. So, but yeah, it's been very quiet on that front, hasn't it?
Yeah, and the top was it was an injury he had before as well, which is never a good thing. If you've got a recurring injury, that's a real problem. But we'll see. Hopefully we'll find out tomorrow. Steve says it is good we're talking about keeping the same back three with Bear, Raggett, and possibly Holmes back soon. Could be good.
Yeah.
He talked about it all season, Steve. Matt Amshaw's mentioned it all season, and we've kind of not scoffed a little bit, but maybe criticised because you've got to deal with the hand that you've got. But I think this is the first podcast we've had this season where we're having disagreements between us about who should start and why they should start and this, that, and the other. But we're in a really good position. It's not perfect. You're never going to be perfect. But injury-wise, touch wood, we're in a really good position at the minute, aren't we, for the first time this season?
We are, and as we mentioned before, Saturday, it was the solidity of our team that impressed me. One of the things that impressed me. And I don't actually see any reason to change any of it, really, apart from tweak the top end of the pitch. But that's me. I'm a bit of a conservative with a small c when it comes to this sort of thing. If it works, then just leave it. Let's see how it works. I mean, it has in the past, backfired, but we have got options. You're absolutely right. I think he'll definitely have Raggett on the bench. I think it depends whether Lenny's injury is cleared up. And if Lenny doesn't play, he'll have him on the bench as well. So we have got options all through the team now. We haven't really got that many injuries left nowadays at the moment, have we? If you think of them. But Marvin Coletta coming back would be absolutely brilliant. I kind of agree with you. He'd rampage through, he would.
Yeah,
and probably injure himself doing it, but there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Harris Hampshire was definitely right about too many players because 2 first teamers are probably going to miss out. He assumes that's Yewood and Holmes. Jack Holmes, I think it's good there. Tom Swift, it's good that they have options, especially in that midfield. Absolutely. And somewhere else, we mentioned the last few episodes, Lewis, but I think it's worth emphasising again because I don't think we mentioned this. The praise Matt Hampshire deserves, not only because of everything else he's talked about, but the substitutions over the last, 3 games have worked a treat. All of them have been fantastic. Even Baggett last week on Saturday coming on late on. Perfect substitution at the perfect time. Again, he's young, he's going to make mistakes, but he seems to be learning as and when the right time to bring Nombe out of time and all these other ones. He seems to be getting a lot of these substitutions right at the minute.
Yeah, one that's come back as well, Liam Kelly. He's come on for the last 10 minutes or so in the last two wins. He's come on to see out a win in the last 2 games. He's another way. Midfield, same as Yearwood. I know it's just been mentioned, like part of the selection headache. But yeah, substitutions seem to be good. And if he's got the depth to do so, then that's only going to aid him more, isn't it, really? I agree with you.
Absolutely. It feels like it's been about 3 years since we've had good options off the bench, doesn't it? We're talking the survival season. Last time we had good options off the bench because of injuries and other issues. Right, let's give you some stats which will make you think we're going to lose, and then we'll maybe give you an omen which could be good. So the last time we beat Barnsley anywhere was in 1982, which was at Millmore. The last time we won at Oakwell was in 1970, which was a 1-0 victory, I think, according to my records. I assume Mick and Stevie, I assume either of you were there?
I was 9.
Okay.
No, if it was 1970, I was 9. I wasn't doing away games. You know, my dad would drive it. So I lived in Worksop then, so I was dependent on my dad driving me. So no, I have never seen us beat Barnsley at Barnsley. I remember being there on that big away terrace when we lost, where during the Town of Ronnie years, I think. I can't remember how many we lost by, but it 2-1 or something. But I've never seen us win there, and I've barely seen us win it. I remember the 98-2 one, but I also remember us losing 4-2 to them about a similar period when Ian Banks drove them on to win that game. That was on the telly as well, so you can find that on YouTube, I think. But yeah, it's horrible. I mean, they're like the new Chesterfield, aren't they? I mean, we went from 1978 to Martin Butler. Before we actually beat them buggers as well. So, yeah, it's about time. So, come on. Yeah. So you need to make this clear to Mr. Rafferty tomorrow that we're all waiting. No pressure.
Paul Rhodes says she was there.
Brilliant.
Good, Paula. So, a few more. Paula. Yeah, Paula, who scored? Let us know who scored. I couldn't find online who scored.
I can't remember at all.
More recently, 7 defeats in a row. Home and away.
Superb.
So not even draws in there. I've got a list of managers that went to Oakwell and didn't win. So you've got Ian Porterfield, Emlyn Hughes, Ronnie Moore, Mick Hartford, Alan Stubbs, Paul Warne, Steve Evans, and of course Matt Hampshire in the League Cup. Those are great managers, and they're literally some of our best managers ever have even tried to go. Failed as well. Not good. But there is a good omen. The referee on Saturday is Benjamin Speedy. He has refereed us 4 times. 3 of those were away from home. And we've won all 3 of those away games that he has refereed.
Oh, God.
So there was Lincoln City at New Year's Day, Doncaster, the 6-0 in the Papa John's, as it was at the time, and also Crewe in the league that the same season as well. So there is a good omen in there. this is where I go, have you got any good memories of playing Barnsley? And then I look at Cheryl Stone's comment. Only time I ever left a game early was when we were 3 or 4-0 down a few years ago. I think it was the Alan Stubbs game.
That was Stubbs' game, wasn't it? I remember being there for the Hartford game, you know, and I think we were down to 10 men, and we were 1-0 up. Was it 1-0 up or 1-1? I can't remember. And in injury time down the other end, they handballed it in. And I think he sent another one of our players off afterwards. It was Trevor Kettle.
It was Kettle.
It was Trevor Kettle, never to be forgotten. When we were doing the fanzine, he got some clout in the fanzine that month.
Yeah. Have you been to? How many times have you been to Oakwell, Lewis? I know you've not seen us win there, obviously, but how many?
No, I've definitely not seen us win. I think I've been twice. The last 2 times, the cup, and then last season before. I think the ones before, like Steve said earlier, I don't think I'll go into away games at that point. And then the ones before that were in lockdown, I believe, weren't they? I think.
God, you make me feel so old.
Don't mention the lockdown game when Mick's around, because if he hears you talking about Victor Johansson getting elbowed in the face by Carlton Morris, he'll go from one again.
Yeah. He was on form again last night, weren't he, old Gavin?
What
did you see the handball they didn't give?
No.
Oh my.
Okay.
Oh my. One of them where he's got his arm out here.
Okay. Fair enough.
Waved it away. Good old Gav.
Oh God.
Yeah, it has been a managerial graveyard. I know Steve Evans didn't get sacked after the game last year, but it felt like there was almost no coming back from that game. Alan Stubbs, Mick Hart for the 2 other ones, which his reigns were significantly impacted by games at Oakwell. 3 games in a year, Mick. In less than a year, we've gone to Oakwell. This is we go back a year. That was the league game. Where does this rank in terms of importance in terms of these Barnsley games? Because obviously, like the last one last year, in the end, it wasn't the fatal blow, but it was a wound that Evans really never recovered from, I think, last year, and other fans as well. So where does this stand for Hampshire and going forward?
I don't. The difference between the manager's position the last time we visited there in the league and now is massive. It's huge. I don't see. Evans was already under pressure at that point because of the performances and the results leading up to that.
He put himself under pressure, hadn't he?
Yeah.
He guaranteed promotion.
Yeah.
So this is entirely different, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Whereas Hampshire results have still not been great, but they've been. I don't know whether they've been better even, but it feels different. It feels completely different to the way it was. However, if we turn in a performance like we did under Evans, then it might be a different matter in terms of how we feel about things going forward. I don't think we will. And we've already played them once this season and caused them problems. We caused them a lot of problems and arguably should have won that game. So had we taken our chances, we would have been out of sight. So it's slightly different. I think it's completely different, to be honest. But that's just my opinion, and obviously that is based on my dislike of the previous regime. So I'm not. There's no point hiding that, is there? So yeah, I don't think it's make or break. I think that last league game there was the start of the break, start of the downfall for the manager. Whether it's going to start the downfall for this one is another matter entirely.
Yeah. It matters how things happen. The Stubbs loss and I'm pretty sure that was the famous broad shoulders comment as well post Barnsley.
But the circumstances surrounding those 3 games, if you like, if you include the Stubbs one, are completely different, or they feel completely different to me. So
if we lose 4-0 in the same fashion as we did, then we're having a different conversation. So I'm not saying we get sacked or anything, but it changes the tune, doesn't it, a little bit if you take a real battery from a bad performance, as it has done in the past.
It does, but I don't think that matters whether it's Barnsley or Northampton or Crew or whoever it is you play, is it? You take a batter in, It's not great.
No, fair enough. Where does this derby, Lewis, rank for you? We've also got 4 South Yorkshire derbies around us. If you count Chesterfield in there, it's not South Yorkshire, but it's just still a local derby. Where does Barnsley rank in that list?
I don't know. It's a difficult one, really, because I've got quite a few mates who are Barnsley fans, and yeah, I don't really know. It almost seems like with the results and stuff, seeing as we've never done anything against them, it don't really feel like there's much. You know what I mean? There's not really much two-way sort of rivalry, if you know what I mean. So it's a difficult one, really. I don't really think it's too. It's not really too like a passionate, aggressive derby, is it really, or much? It seems like quite a civil game. I think obviously Doncaster's different. There's more results between that and Wednesday, and then I don't think really Barnsley's too much. I don't think there's too much in it, really. I wouldn't say.
Yeah, I mean, Harry, the lowest to me. I don't care about them more than the other three. I only care about Barnsley, particularly when they're playing. And I don't want to age you both, Stephen Mick, but I spoke to the Red All Over podcast last year, and he was telling me that in the 70s and 80s, it was a really big rivalry, Rotherham and Barnsley. Is that right? Is that just have we kind of missed that boat? Yeah,
it was a big one. I mean, it'd depend on the division you're in and how everybody. But the one in 81, 82 or whatever when Ronnie was playing, I mean that open end was full of Rotherham fans. It's faded down a bit. I mean, I remember being there watching us play Emily as well. So I don't know. That were garbage, wasn't it? But yeah, it's a strange derby, this one, because I don't get that upset about it. I did in the early 80s when we used to have battles with them in the Ronnie years, where I refer to that 4-2 loss and what have you. But since then, I've not really been that bothered. We've not really played each other that much until recently. I mean, Wednesday's always the one for me, followed closely by the other D-Dars. Doncaster, I don't care about. And Chesterfield just irritated me for 20-odd years when we couldn't beat them. It would be lovely to beat them, though, because we haven't beaten them since I was 9, which is ridiculous.
It's been a while. Carl Scott has just messaged me saying it was Lee Brogdon with the goal the last time we won at Barnsley in 1970.
Number 7.
There you go.
All red shirt. First member of the first team I saw. Fennell, Mealand, Lee, Quinn, Watson, Brogdon, etc. The famous last lot to win at Oakwell. I wonder if Warnock was playing, because Warnock played for us 70-71.
Maybe, yeah. If somebody knows, let us know. Paul, if you were there, let us know.
Brilliant. Thanks for letting us know that, because I used to love Lee Brogdon.
Matt Miller says, yes, sure it was. The 4-2 defeat at Milner was a brilliant match played in a terrific atmosphere as well. Fishman said, didn't Ronnie put the Coppers helmet on when he scored at Oakwell?
And he did.
Yeah.
Sure it went that well.
I was all about a sort of that, wasn't it? Something. The Barnsley fans were singing Ronnie Moore, he wears a that, I think.
Ah, right, okay. Fair enough. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see what happens on Saturday. It'd be nice to win just because of the history and stuff you back. But I agree. I think we've all agreed where Barnsley sit. And to be fair, I think the feeling is pretty mutual as well. I don't think they're massively bothered. What I would say is I think Barnsley's away end is one of the best, and because it's massive. No, we're not going to take a massive following, but it's massive, and the players obviously have to come to you as they leave as well. Which if you win, it's fantastic. Obviously, last year as well, when we lost it, it got interesting as well. So it's one of my favourite away ends. I think 1,200 tickets sold. I'm going to take this off, mate, because people are whinging about it. But we're not going to waste much time on it. 1,200 tickets sold on Saturday. Obviously, that'll go up because it's Wednesday and there's 3 more days to go. But do you have an opinion?
Oh, it's tedious, isn't it?
I don't know whether it's my age or what, but it's
all this willy waving about, we're taking more than you, and we've got bigger this than you, and this is bigger than that, and shut up. Why does it matter?
I'm with my friend here. Like, just there'll be what there will be there.
Yeah.
And the people that went to Northampton, there were 500 of them, and did us proud. And whoever goes on Saturday will do as proud as they ever do. So,
I don't get it. But again, like I said, it might just be my age. I don't know. Maybe you're better off asking Lewis, because Lewis is a lot younger. But to me,
go on, Lewis.
One bit.
Go on, Lewis.
I don't know, really. I just think, like, you see the attendances for other games, for further away games, like Steve said, 500 at Northampton, and then almost to play somewhat of a devil's advocate, you have 500 go to Northampton, and then you've got 1,000 going to Barnsley, for example. Like, where's the other 500 coming from? Obviously, it's local. That's the catch with that. But you know what I mean. So I suppose, is it really? Obviously, people are going to complain, but are these people complaining? Are they going themselves, or you know what I mean?
Harry said that.
Yeah.
You don't think they will be?
Really.
Yeah. I just think it's.
Go on.
I think I also think it's stupid. Other Rotherham fans complaining about other Rotherham fans. Don't worry about it. If people don't want to go to games, don't worry about it. You don't have to go to every single game to support your club. It's fine. Chill.
I appreciate we're currently broadcasting live on social media, but it's all about social media, isn't it? It's about getting. I don't know what it's about, but it's not. I don't know.
It's expensive as well, and you've always got to take that into consideration. I mean, personally, I shan't be going. I've done my time going to away games. I did it for 30 years, virtually every away game, and now I'm tired of doing it without any real guarantee. I have to drive from Derby to go to games, so I've gone and justified myself there when I shouldn't have to. But I'm not going, and I'll watch it somewhere. I'll go and watch it with my lad. But yeah, people can't. I mean, I don't know what it is, 26, 30 quid or something.
27 quid.
27 quid. It's a lot of money as well. You take if the missus goes and you get 2 kids. I mean, you don't get any change out of what, 80, 90 quid. Then you've got to get there. Then you've got food on top. It's £100 top now. So yeah, our guys will do us proud. Those guys that go, and I hope it's brilliant, because I just love to see us win.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're one of those 1,200 there, imagine winning on Saturday afternoon. When you're one of those 1,200, you're more of an exclusive club if you go on Saturday.
If we win on Saturday, I'm straight on Twitter going, I bet you wish you came now.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's like when we won at Northampton. My lad texted me and he said, I bet you regret it now. I said, no, I've just had 2 unexpected hours with my grandson. Then I watched Rotherham on the telly win 2-1. What's not to like?
A perfect Saturday afternoon. Hopefully Saturday is again a perfect Saturday afternoon, but we'll see. Predictions. Again, I've forgot to get somebody else to predict for me again, because I've had a lot of
surprise.
Mainly organising an interview. So I'll pick somebody in the comments again. Mick, first of all, a lot of people picked up points last week. Nobody predicted 1-0 Leyton Orient, because we all expected goals. Quite a lot of people predicted victories, you being one of them, Mick. What do you think this week away at? It's probably our longest winless record, I would have thought, an away ground.
Yeah, I went on that Barnsley thing earlier on, and they obviously asked for my prediction, and I said 1-1. I said, I'll take that now. Can we just call it a day and I'll go for a pint? And I think I said that earlier on in here, but I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to be positive, and I'm going to say that we're going to sneak a 1-0.
Okay, fair enough. Steve, what do you reckon?
I want a decent performance. I want us to continue in the right trajectory. That's difficult to say when you can grit your teeth in. And I should be positive. I'll say 2-1.
2-1. Like
But not telling you to. No, to us.
And Lewis, what do you reckon?
I'm going to go with Mick's original prediction, and I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Okay.
I'd like to be a bit more optimistic, but I think, like with everything, like away from home at Barnsley, I think, not to say we take a point, but you know what I mean? I'll go for a 1-1 draw.
Come on, Lewis. There you are, being reasonable and pragmatic and realistic.
It's got to happen one day.
Well, yeah.
I think this is the perfect storm for us, this. We're in a good run of form. They've not won in more than a month. 13th of September was the last time they've won. This is the perfect time for us to go to Oakwell. I'm going to pick Jamie's prediction of 3-1. I am going in really confident on Saturday. It just feels right. It feels like this is the moment we're going to break this curse. Although I will cut and edit. I'll delete this bit if we lose, obviously.
When was the last time we scored 3 goals away from home? Ipswich is the only thing that comes to mind for me. When we lost was it 4-3?
Bristol Rovers, when we won 3-2.
Good lad. Yeah, that's the one. 3-2, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I'll take that.
Yeah, I would. Fishman Sid says 2-2. Chris Tether says 2-1 to the Millers. Paul Rhodes saying Nombe and Sheriff in a 2-0 win. Harry thinks that Barnsley are going to win 2-1. Thinks it's going to continue. Steve says 2-1 to the Millers. Two of him is obviously with me. And Andy P as well says 3-1. We owe them 1. He's super confident. YouTube user says 2-1. Us, Mike 2-1 to them. Jamie Wilson also 3-1. Phil thinks we're going to lose 2-1. Kayla Wilson 1-1. Rob Dick says I love a birthday win, but he's a realist. He thinks it'll be a 3-1 defeat, and if it doesn't feel right, I think it does. I think it's.
I don't.
It's set up.
Despite predicting a 1-0 win, the fly in the ointment for me is that they have not won a game in 6. Sooner or later, they're going to have to win one, and it's likely to be at home.
We played them at the peak of their form this season, and we should have beaten them comfortably.
Yes, that is true.
Now they're struggling at the minute. If you want to find out more about their struggles, like the scout report's out tomorrow with the wonderful guys at Red All Over. So check that out, and they'll tell you why they've been struggling a little bit. Right. Anything else you want to mention before I tell everybody the schedule for the next few days?
Nah.
Yeah. Well, apart from the fact that in 1981 I was playing cricket. I played cricket in the ground behind the Barnsley away end. And I took a catch. There you go. That's useless information for everybody concerned. It just came back to me.
There you go. That's what it's about. Yeah,
it didn't help us win a game, mind, but there you go.
No. At least one of us have had some sort of success at least near Oakwell.
I caught it in my ghoulies.
Fair enough. Right, schedule over the next few days. So as I said, Scout Report is out tomorrow. That'll be out first thing in the morning, so watch it anytime on Thursday. We are speaking geographic tomorrow. If you've got any questions, email them in, and we've got a load already, but if you want to put some in, let us know. It will be a daft interview. If you're expecting questions about the tactical insight ahead of Saturday or where things like that, we're asking if you like chocolate orange, chocolate and things like that. It's going to be a wide-ranging one, but don't expect anything too serious. If it upsets you, us asking what Matt Hamshaw's favourite pie is, this interview is not going to be for you. But there we are.
Steak and ale.
But do feel free to get your questions in because there are some things off limit. But if you want us to ask, we'll do what we can, ask what we can. That will be out Friday. So pre-match, pre-game listening and watching, that'll be out Friday at some point. Then the instant reaction will be out on Saturday evening at some point, and then we'll be back on Sunday for a review of the Barnsley. You're getting 5 episodes in 5 days from us. So
who's doing all these episodes? Have you asked anybody?
Well, I've already done one of the 2. I've already done with the Barnsley one, but it's going out anyway. Also, subscribers, they're just going up and up and up and up. We've gained like 10 since the last episode. We're now less than 60 away from 2,000 subscribers. Just over 55 we need or something like that. So please make sure you subscribe. We'll see if Rafi will do his plug tomorrow, just for a laugh, because I think it'll be funny. If not, do subscribe. Give this video a like as well, thumbs up. because that helps us as well. If you listen to iTunes, Spotify, give us a 5-star rating. I've just talked a lot then, so I apologise if I got bored.
As Mick succinctly put it, it's Yorkshire price.
Yeah,
So it costs note
exactly.
to press a button. So press your buttons, folks.
Exactly. Matt Mills, thank you. Tremendous work as always. What would a season be without New York talk? Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, I think I can answer that.
Yeah. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Mick. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Lewis.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody who's been in the comments. We will see everybody next time. And as always, up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
Comes for more.
2 for Jensen, 2 for Rotherham. Shoots!
Ravel. Vicious, but brilliant. The sweetest feeling for Rotherham United.
It's got round the back, and Richie Wood has done it again. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly.
Do me a favor, drop me off in Rome.